Hello guys, today we'll learn about wound healing, which is one of the commonly asked questions in theory examination of professional final year MBBS. The questions which have been asked till now in different forms are: what are the types of wounds? Describe wound healing types or the process of wound healing, and what are the factors affecting wound healing? These three types of questions have been asked and covered in this lecture. So we should first define what is a wound. A wound is a break in the integrity of the skin or tissues, often which may be associated with disruption of the structure and function. So you should remember this definition, which will be good. Now you should also try to remember this flow chart, you can say, which will help in remembering the stages of wound healing or the phases of wound healing. Whenever there is tissue injury or there is wound, there occurs vasoconstriction plus thrombosis. After that, vasoconstriction and thrombosis leads to mostly this is for stoppage of bleeding. Then this is followed by inflammation, which is followed by angiogenesis. After that, this is angioneogenesis, which means formation of new vessels. After angiogenesis, there is new tissue formation. After this, there is epithelialization of the tissue or the wound, which is followed by wound contraction. After that, there is remodeling, which is the final stage or phase. Now, the first question which has been asked many a times in examinations is factors affecting wound healing. The factors can be local factors or general factors. Local factors are infection. If there is infection, the wound healing will delay. If there is no infection, there would be good wound healing. Blood supply, good blood supply, good wound healing. Poor blood supply, poor wound healing. If there is hematoma, it will lead to poor wound healing. Location of the wound which are located mostly at joints, poor to heal. Then there is type of wound. Inside wound will heal fast. Then avulsed or crushed bone. Then presence of foreign body. If there is foreign body, there is delay in wound healing. Recurrent trauma. If there is recurrent trauma, wound healing would be delayed. And mechanism of injury or mechanism of the wound. Obviously, stab wound would heal much faster than the crushed wound. Now there are some general factors like age, old age, poor wound healing; young age, good wound healing; malignancy, poor wound healing; malnutrition, poor wound healing; diabetes, poor wound healing; immunosuppression like HIV/AIDS, poor wound healing; smoking, obviously poor wound healing; vitamin deficiency, poor wound healing; and medication like steroids, which decrease immune response or which cause immunosuppression, leads to poor wound healing. The next question that have been asked are the types of wounds. You can classify wounds according to these classifications. Classification of surgical wounds into clean, contaminated or dirty wounds. And there is other Rank and Wakefield classification, which classify wound into tidy and untidy wounds. A tidy wound is any wound which is incised, which is clean, having healthy tissue, and tissue loss is rare. Usually there is no tissue loss, is a tidy wound. An untidy wound is any wound which is either crushed or avulsed, and contaminated. See the difference? It was clean, it is contaminated and devitalized. Look here, here it was healthy tissue and here it is devitalized tissue. Here tissue loss was rare, but in untidy wound there is often tissue loss. So this is the Rank and Wakefield classification. Now we'll explain this one. So the question can be classification of surgical wounds. Whenever there is this question, you classify wound into these 4 types, and these figures are from Bailey and Love, so you can quote this also. Wounds can be surgical wounds. Surgical wounds can be classified into clean wound, clean contaminated, and dirty or infected wound. Dirty infected wound. A clean wound is having infection rate of up to 1 to 2%. Examples are hernia surgeries and surgeries involving brain and heart. A clean contaminated wound is which is having infection rate less than 10% and more than this. Examples of clean contaminated wound are bowel surgeries in which there is no fecal spillage, appendectomy in which there is no appendicular perforation, and biliary surgery. Obviously there is no biliary spillage. So it is clean contaminated. A contaminated one is ruptured appendix and accidental wounds which are fresh and open. In this infection rate is 15 to 20%. Next is dirty infected wounds. The infection rate is less than 40% but more than this. So perforation peritonitis is an example of dirty infected wound, and drainage of an abscess is also example of dirty wound. Or you can say clean would have chances of infection 1 to 2%, clean contaminated less than 10%, contaminated wounds have chances of infection of 15 to 20%, dirty wound have chances of infection almost up to 40%. Okay, the next question that is asked is classification of wound healing. The healing may be by primary intention, healing may be by secondary intention, or healing may be by tertiary intention. A primary intention is one where the wound edges are opposed. Opposed means if there is incised wound, there is opposition of wound edges. In this there is normal healing and scar is minimal. A healing by secondary intention is, in this the wound is not sutured, in this the wound is left open, it heals by granulation, then there is contraction, epithelialization, increased inflammation and proliferation, and this the scar is poor because wound was left open and margins were not approximated or opposed. Then there is a third kind of wound healing, which is healing by tertiary intention. It is also called delayed primary healing. So in this, wound initially left open, example of secondary intention, then edges are opposed when the healing condition favorable, like primary intention. What are favorable condition? Like there is no infection, blood supply is good. These are the favorable condition. Once the condition are favorable, we will suture the wound. Delayed primary. The next question which is asked on wound is the phases of wound healing. Phases can be 3 or 4 according to Bailey and Love. Before inflammatory phase, there can be hemostatic phase or a destructive phase after inflammatory phase, but we'll describe only 3 types of phases of wound healing. First one is inflammatory phase. Historically, inflammatory phase was described as having rubor, tumor, color, dolor. Rubor, tumor, color, dolor. So, it is characterized by redness, swelling, heat and the pain. But the new description is, it starts immediately after wound or injury. It remains there for 2 to 3 days. Whenever there is wound, it is followed by bleeding, which is followed by vasoconstriction plus thromboformation. Remember the chart, you will be having less difficulty in remembering the phases of wound healing. So next is after vasoconstriction and thrombus formation, platelet adhere to the damaged endothelial lining, which release the platelets, which release ADP. ADP causes thrombocyte aggregates to fill the wound and bleeding is stopped. Now, platelet from alpha granules release cytokines like platelet-derived growth factor, platelet factor 4 on transforming growth factors. These cytokines attract inflammatory cells, which are polymorphonuclear lymphocytes and macrophages. Again, platelets plus insert tissue. They release vasoactive amines like histamine, serotonin or prostaglandins. These amines increase vascular permeability, which lead to infiltration of inflammatory cells. So, after this phase, macrophages, remember these are inflammatory cells, remove devitalized tissue and microorganisms like bacteria while regulating the fibroblastic activity. This remember, fibroblastic activity in the proliferative phase of the healing. So these are the phases which does not occur in steps. They occur simultaneously. They take over before the first one end. Okay, so next point is the initial framework of structural support of the cell is provided by the fibrin produced by the fibrinogen. The initial framework is by fibrin. The next phase is proliferative phase, which is predominantly from third day to third week. I'm saying predominantly. I'm not saying it is not before that or not after that. Okay, it is or may be present before and after that also. It mainly consists of fibroblast activity. Now, fibroblast activity is vitamin C dependent. You should remember this. Okay, in this phase, there is production of collagen and ground substance like glycosaminoglycans and proteoglycans. In this phase, there is angioneogenesis. Remember the chart. Growth of new blood vessels as capillary loops. And there is the reepithelization of the wound surface, followed by granulation. In early part of the proliferative phase, there is granulation tissue. Then there is increased in tensile strength of the wound due to increase in collagen 3. Initially, the collagen 1 were in majority. This is being replaced by collagen 3. Okay. Then there is remodeling phase. After proliferative phase, there is maturation of the collagen first. Type 1 replaces type 3 until the ratio of 4:1 is achieved. And in this phase, there is realignment of collagen fibers along the line of the contraction. Remember, in proliferative phase, they were not aligned. In remodeling, there is realignment of the collagen fibers. And there is decreased wound vascularity and wound contraction due to fibroblast and myofibroblast activity, which leads to scar formation. A scar is always having less vascularity. So these were the almost all points regarding a wound which are sufficient for writing answers in examination. So thank you.